Okay, I wanted to explain a little bit about a mahout and what that is. I assume it's M-A-H-O-U-T. I'm not sure. But basically, I almost think even if, maybe not if they're in a logging camp, but 100%, so each animal will have a mahout. So even if it was a logging elephant, there would be a mahout that is like its trainer. But, so maybe it's the term for elephant watcher. But when an elephant goes to a sanctuary, there's no fences. Like these elephants, the whole beauty of it is they are designed to live a life as if they were intended to be. And so there's not chains and there's not any fencing to keep them in. So every single elephant spends a life with a mahout. And so these gentlemen literally give their life to just accompanying an elephant. And so it's kind of magical when you think about it, because like literally, so I go to the sanctuary yesterday that was just, it's mind-blowing. And I'm going to talk candidly on here. As we're pulling in, I see the first elephant, and I asked the driver, oh my God, can you please slow down? And Aaron goes, fuck, keep going here to see a bunch of these motherfuckers. And I start dying laughing, like thinking, this isn't common for me to see elephants. And literally like 30 seconds later, here come two just walking down. I mean, they're everywhere. But, they're curious. They want to see what's going on. And it's just beautiful. Like, he's right. Like, they're everywhere. And there's only 10 on this property. And it's like a big property. But they just can explore and do what they want and come and go as they please. And so if you interest them, they come see you. And if they don't, they go about their business. But there's always a mahout with them for a lot of reasons. Because again, they can't get off the property. They also have to monitor their health and safety. And so I guess the bowel movements of an elephant are extremely important. And so that way that they can see when they're going number 2 to make sure that they're getting rid of the proper waste and it looks the proper coloring. Same with their urine. Like there's all these different facets going into it. The mahout also is kind of like their babysitter, really, is if they're getting into stuff, they can redirect them. If there's a tour going on, that's how they're able to feed the elephants, is from the tours of people coming to visit the elephants. And so if they're getting near, because they are wild animals and they're not chained, so you have to then kind of steer them away, or it's, they're with them 24/7. And so I said, well, how do they sleep? Like, what's the deal? Well, so they actually showed us where the mahout stayed, and it's in the middle of the jungle. And like one of them had a little girl, and they said that she would be just a jungle baby. She will never go to school. She will always live in the jungle with her family, and and raise and take care of elephants. And so so there's all this mahout thing. And so then I asked us, like, well, how do they sleep? I said, well, elephants have to sleep. So I believe like when the elephant goes to sleep, then the mahout will basically excuse himself and go to bed. Well, then there's a few elephants that get bored and they don't sleep the full night. So then they wake and they go to their mahout's house. They knock on their window like, hey, I'd like some bananas. Or like, hey, can we go play ball out here? And so a few of the mahouts like have, these two elephants that just know when they're ready to keep going, I got to go get my mahout to keep on moving on to the next thing, which I think is just precious, the whole stories of that. Then the best to me is that they have rescued this little, I think his name's Peanut. I think it's Peanut. And he is like a teenager. I mean, he really is like a 3-year-old and a teenager together. So he is a hellion. And so as we're coming in, Aaron sees Peanut going, that motherfucker's heading to rob a bank. And I'm dying, but they have chairs randomly in the jungle all over. So when the elephant stops to do whatever, the mahout just sits there and watches them. So they have a place to sit, basically. Well, he thinks that they're his toys, this little Peanut. And he likes to try to tear down buildings. He likes to try to chase the other mahouts. He likes to try to turn around and run off. He likes to jump on the other elephants when he's in a bath, like when they're in their pool, like trying to relax. Here comes this little fucker to mess with them. And so Aaron's trying to, he's feeling bad, for this thing. They're trying to process this, and I think it's funnier and shit. And so then yesterday, as I'm processing, and they, of course, because we're in foreign territory, we don't know these elephants. Up comes little Peanut, and one of the gals goes, Jenny, here comes a little terrorist. Take cover, because you just never know what this little terrorist is gonna do. And he just goes, and then it's like he kind of like looks at you like, yeah, you guys aren't fun, and just goes about his business, and the mahout just keeps going. So that's the job of the mahout. They're to feed them, to take care of them, to love them, to make sure that they're okay. There's a big outdoor portico basically that the elephants are able to like roam around, and people are able to sit and have lunch, and it's beautiful, it's very cool, and there's a great wind. Well, 3 of them were out there, 2 on one side and 1 on the other, and so then one of the mahouts is kind of sitting up where I was, just sitting there watching his elephant, and the elephant was stood there for like an hour and a half, and then there were 2 out there, just, it's like they were just hanging out having a conversation. So then the mahouts are under the tree just having their conversation. So it's really special. So that's what and then sometimes they can't obviously stop them. So like at the one place we'd visited, the mahout, the elephant kept going to the neighbor's house to eat the banana leaves, and then they have to pay for the banana leaves because it's expensive to feed an elephant. So, but it's quite fascinating. So that's the life of a mahout.